What I've got for you today is a best of 3 series of StarCraft 2 that I heard is absolutely phenomenal. This particular series was recently played during the Monday Night Weekly number 30, where in the top left-hand corner, playing with the red SCVs, we have none other than Percival, one of the highest ranked Korean pro gamers on the StarCraft 2 ladder. His opponent, however, we have none other than the Diamond League Zerg, CaptainTruel. Now, in case you're unfamiliar, a lot of StarCraft 2 tournaments out there are open to anybody. So you can sign up if you want to play. You're probably going to get demolished by a pro gamer within the first round, but at least potentially you're going to have some fun, right? If you even make it to the pro gaming rounds. Now, it is a dream, of course, of pretty much all StarCraft players out there to be able to just at any point be able to take on a professional player and then actually give them a run for the series. Now, I've heard that this series is ridiculous, that this particular match is surprisingly competitive, considering that CaptainTruel is a Diamond League player. Now, I don't mean any disrespect to any Diamond League players, but if you've ever tried ranking up in StarCraft 2, you know that a Diamond League player is substantially better than a Platinum League player, and that a Master League player is significantly better than a Diamond League player, and that a Grandmaster is better than a Master, and then from there, pro gamers are... well, not just significantly, they are ridiculously significantly... you get what I'm trying to say, right? Pro gamers are really good at the game. And even though I have played tens of thousands of games of StarCraft 2, I really don't think I stand a chance against the likes of Percival. So I'm excited for this one. This is a match that's been hyped up to me, so I have no idea what to expect. But there's really no way. Okay, we're going to be playing macro, right? It's going to be a roach war here very early on. Reaper Scout is going to be heading across the map. Obviously, the big difference is that mechanically, pro gamers are just simply stronger. And mechanically, I mean their micro, but also their unit production. They'll be able to shave seconds off of strategies here and there. You can already see that this Reaper is kind of bullying the Zerg, able to keep it alive. It's those little things added up together that just create those extreme differences. And only when both players have really good mechanics do you, generally speaking, get into competitive matches. Because, well, when you're both playing and you're both trying your best, but one of them just simply has more production power, it usually is a mismatch pretty quickly. Now, this will be a Roach rush. So the Roaches are already coming up. Roach Warren is already hiding here at the bottom of 10,000 feet. That's not that many feet for the Roaches for now. But this is the good old, I think, 7 Roach rush right here. No Zergling speed. Oh, he's going to be able to kill the Reaper because of the little double jump here on the map. So you can get into the main base, but you have to risk it. And now the Roaches are going to be able to get across the map completely unscouted, it seems. There is a Marine out. Hellion production has begun right here. We should see Banshees too. But what's nice about this particular build for the Zerg is that it actually hits before the Banshees are out. 1 Ravager. That's the norm. Sometimes you can go for 2. If you feel like you're winning, you can even make up to 3. But the norm is to go ahead and drone behind this. So already, we do indeed have the Terran now evacuating the low ground. Percival should be able to lift off. He decides to go for a Marauder rather than a Banshee. Bunkers are building on top of the high ground. A little bit of panic here on the side of the South Korean pro gamer. I love the Overlord moving in the direction of the high ground too, providing that vision that is a necessity in order to actually deal the damage. So many SCVs are dying. It looks like the bunkers are going to finish up eventually, but this is already so much damage dealt. The Viking I disagree with. I think he should have done the switcheroo and build up a Banshee ASAP. 14 SCVs die. Oh no, absolute disaster here on the side of Percival. No way. Now the question becomes, though, can CaptainTruel actually keep his head? Because, yeah, now you're winning. Now you're winning against somebody who's like 2,500 MMR ahead of you. But can you actually play this out and keep your head cool? Are you able? He's still making units. He should have been droning here for a bit already, I think, but it's still fine. Are you able to actually continue playing from this particular position? Stress management, not so easily done. You can see it reflected right now as well in the amount of resources that CaptainTruel has in the bank. Upwards of 1,000 resources there is not what you're hoping for. This all-in has been held, but the question is, of course, at what cost, right? So 22 SCVs are down the drain, but you just cannot reach that siege tank. The Viking did end up, I mean, it wasn't too useful, but it did end up killing that Overlord. So high ground vision on the side of the Zerg, well, on the side of the Terran, but for the Zerg here is no longer relevant. So command center is going to get biled down. But eventually the Marines, I think they will be out in big enough numbers. CaptainTruel getting a little bit carried away with this, if I'm being honest. But I don't really mind it all too much, assuming he can actually get to spending his money. So he's double expending now. We should certainly be firing up as many queens as we can afford as well, just to get that money down, whatever we can do. Double supply block here for CaptainTruel as well. Makes a few overlords all at the same time. You can see that the heat, it is felt right here. In a lot of Diamond League games, this match would be over. The Terran would not have been able to hold at all. So do you ever have to actually practice a follow-up? StarCraft 2, of course, an extremely hard game, so can't blame them all too much. And there's a very real opportunity here, or a real chance, I suppose, that he is playing at like 140 beats a minute. Heart rate going absolutely crazy. All right, we are going lair. We are still building drones. We are getting that link speed going. As far as a follow-up goes, I think you could easily go into like a +1/+1 or roach speed timing attack. So you go to lair, you build up double evolution chamber. Instead he's going roach warren into banelingness now, fair enough. I don't hate it, but it is a little bit more complex to play across the board. I think keeping it simple is a nice idea. The roaches do lead really nicely into roach timing attacks as well. So we already had one of those. A double layer timing with like roach speed and double upgrades in the evo chambers would be really nice. Percival, though, has decided to load up the units right now inside of a medevac. A little bit risky for him, but he knows that if he gets these across the map, it's awesome for him. As long as he can keep this Zerg player occupied, and maybe even get 9 drones as well, he might be able to climb back into the saddle. Couple corrosive balls here trying their best. Nice dodges, though, by the Terran. This is what happens when you lose that early game Reaper, right? Early game Reaper goes down, and you immediately pay the price. The Queen there with the 2 Zerglings waiting on the high ground. Absolutely critical here for the Captain. Trying to get the lucky surround there, but not going to happen. And Percival will continue dilly-dallying here. 7 overlords on the production tab in the meantime. And supply-wise, Terran has already caught up again. This was, of course, a very fast third command center by Percival. So losing, in a weird way, losing that many... Oh, misplay here from Percival, actually. Losing that many SCVs is not even really the end of the world. Obviously, you're not in a good position after that, but with triple mule mining, you can get back into the battle reasonably swiftly. Yeah, CaptainTruel really struggling here with the macro. We're stacking up to 2,000 resources now, a little bit over. Percival, though, is setting himself up now for a timing attack. No evolution chambers for the Zerg yet. Very quick armory here for Percival. A little bit too early, if you ask me, but it's okay. It's better than forgetting it. Baneling speed is coming up. I will have to compliment the creep spread here. The creep spread is looking very solid, all things considered. Especially when you open up with a, well, timing attack with the roaches, right? Usually you don't have a lot of queens available. So dedicating a lot of APM here to creep spread is always a bit tricky. Of course, this is a best of 3 series too. So even if this first map does go in favor of the Zerg, it does not mean that Percival is out of it. Slowly but surely, though, it is starting to fizzle in the direction of the Terran's advantage. Medevac drops are continuing onwards. Percival is going to start working on that creep spread. There's the 1-1 coming up. Looks like Captain wants to go into the good old Ultralisks. I think that's probably what we want to do. 4th command center, though, coming up for Percival. He's finally building up barracks 4 and 5 as well. Those are ridiculously late. But he feels like he's okay now and prioritizes economy. Little medevac drop here down south. APM-wise, actually, I'm gonna say 366 is not bad whatsoever. Let's see, though, what it actually looks like when we're looking at the first-person view. Yeah. One of the big things that I have found playing many games of StarCraft over the years is that prioritization is the real key. Ooh. So, yes, creep spread is important, but as far as all the things to manage go, I feel like creep spread is not the absolute most important thing to do. Usually it's good to try and go back to basics, right? So for Zerg, there would be things like spending your resources and queen injects. Spending your resources and queen injects will carry you through most problems. Then below that would be things like, for example, Overlord production, things like, for example, setting up timing attacks. Maybe army micro below that, and then maybe at that point, creep spread would make the list. So there's been a heavy focus here on trying to finish the game, trying to get that creep around. But I think we probably should be prioritizing spending the resources and hitting those injects. Doesn't really matter much, though. If you get 2 Ultralisks, right? If you actually manage to get up towards the hive and you build up the Ultralisk Cavern, it is very easy to spend your money. Linkbane is one of those compositions that requires a lot of larva, a lot of management. At this point, we only need like 10 larva to be able to spend all the money. If we indeed do have an Ultralisk Cavern done. Little matter of fact, drop is going to continue on the right side of the map. Percival honestly doing a really good job here, climbing back into the saddle. Nice Widowmine hits. 19 and 10 kills, respectively. Nematize Carapace, probably just so the Overseers have a little bit more movement. First of all, with 4 Marines. There's the Ultra Cavern. Ooh, nice pickup. Okay. 2-2, though, is just about to finish up here for our Terran. And I think that creates a really good opportunity for him to be aggressive if that's what he wants. Obviously, a difficult game to read here as well from the Terran. He instead decides to just go for another command center. So that is command center number 5. He does have an 8-Rex done, though. So I don't really mind the idea of just going for an all-out assault at this point. But I think because of the early game, he's no longer willing to risk it. Nice defense here. Ultra Cavern, though, I think it does get spotted. Yeah, so Percival has seen the cavern. If he clicked on it, he could prepare some units for it, too. If we are going to be playing big macro, nice Baneling hits. If we are going to be playing macro, I think getting a Ghost Academy going right about right now, or maybe going into Liberator production here would not be a luxury either. Okay. We have a Thor. Why? Alright, just to look cool. Sometimes you make units just to try and intimidate the opponent. I'm here, click me! Get me back into the fight! My Thor impression's not very good. No. My Arnold accent is terrible, too. Somehow those two things can't be coincidence. Alright, let's see. Ultras are coming. Chitinous plating is about halfway done. +2, +2. It's all lining up reasonably well here for CaptainTruel in the end. I think he has one really good attack left in him. When the Ultralisk pop and the chitinous plating is done, he is gonna get a gigantic power spike, and it will be right before the Terran gets up towards Ghosts. Right before the Terran. No, we don't want to engage right now. Not yet, not yet. It's too early. Okay, at least now it's spotted, but it will be right before Terran gets up to a proper counter. I think we gotta go. Yes, CaptainTruel's making all the right moves here. Chitinous plating lined up perfectly with 2-2. We gotta go, we gotta go! Where's the Zergling swell, though? Oh, we don't have larva. He ran out of larva. He can't actually make Zerglings from here. 26 of them are coming up, but we need a lot more to reinforce this. Whoa, move command there as well from Percival, accidentally moving into not just the Banelings, but also the Ultralisks. CaptainTruel trying to make it through. Oh, we missed the Ling reflex. Oh, if he actually had all of his minerals spent on Zerglings right now, the counterattack would be insane. He did kill 18 SCVs as well on the right side here. The more of a downtime we get over in this spot, though, if we actually chill here for too long, Terran is going to finish 3-3 and rebuild their army. I don't know if CaptainTruel realizes how close this is. If you would be able to parade push from there, go around the corner, make it into the main base, this is where all the production is. If you would be able to break through here, get all the reinforcements going, and then keep attacking into the main base, I think this game is over. Like, we were like one inject cycle away from this game very likely being in favor of the Zerg. Even after the macro not being the cleanest. The problem is, now we're playing for an eco advantage, right? So these Lingron buys are awesome, don't get me wrong. But this is played off of 58 drones. And 58 drones is not ideal. I gotta say, though, he's making his opponent fight for it. Bailing's going in around the site. Okay, okay, nicely done. 21 additional, 24, 26 additional SCVs die. Looks like the Ultras, though, are not going to be able to finish off the Planetary. Planetary itself, for some reason, the strongest unit so far. The Terran has made 16 confirmed kills on that bad boy. I can't believe this was almost still a win. Crazy. Percival, probably a little flabbergasted, decides to just play this as safe as he can. Rebuilding the SCVs as well. When you have, I think, about 6 command centers, you can obviously build up those bad boys pretty rapidly. GG, well played, gets cold. It's Percival who wins game number 1. Okay, next up, we find ourselves on the Ruby Rock. It turns out gods can bleed. I mean, sometimes it kind of feels like pro gamers are way off the beaten path, right? You just cannot really assume as a mere mortal to be able to take the games off of them, but CaptainTruel, living the life of a Diamond League hero, just came dangerously close. So what can we do on Ruby Rock? I like this better, actually. I think this is going to be a double Rex opener from Percival. Yeah, what's nice about double Rex is that you can put on so much pressure early on that it's difficult for Zerg to even just, like, stay alive until link speed is done. But obviously, it also just puts on a lot of pressure and a lot of counter micro. And looking at that first game that we just had a look at, right? Percival, obviously, well, he sniped a bunch of Zerglings with his very first Reaper. Then he ended up losing the Reaper too. Imagine if he would have had 3 Reapers, or maybe even 5 Reapers. Potentially, he can win the game with those units alone. Back to the drawing board here as well, though, for the Zerg player. Of course, if you're a ladder player, you don't really need multiple strategies so much. Right? If you have one really nice strategy that you like in Zerg versus Terran, why come up with a second one? May as well just play the ladder and play the same build against Terran every time. Not so likely when you play against the same opponent multiple times in a row, because now it's on Percival's radar. And I don't think you're going to be able to pull this off back-to-back, but let's see. Hatch gas pool for the time being. He did go for a Roach Warren really quickly, as soon as the spawning pool finished up. What does that even say? Oh, it's French. I think it is French. It's CaptainTruel. Gotta work on my French pronunciation there. Alright. Reapers are indeed coming up. Now, I was told that these games are played on a European server, meaning that there is a ping disadvantage for Percival, who's playing all the way from Korea. It does mean that everything he's doing here, and that may explain the Reaper snipe in the early game as well in the previous match, everything that Percival is doing is probably delayed by like a quarter of a second maybe. So that could also be the reason. Like, he could force the games to be on NA, but he probably was, you know, he thought to himself, okay, he's a Diamond League player, I don't care. No disrespect, but I don't want to switch servers. So maybe it's fun. We're gonna go for the same strategy again. I'm a little bit afraid that Percival is gonna scout it. Yeah. If he gets a Reaper into the main base, I mean, already alarm bells are going off because he hasn't seen a third. This is actually a variety of the same theme, though, because it's now actually the good old link speed together with the roaches. It does mean that we're going to get less roaches out. But maybe we can still put in a bit of work. In the meantime, Percival not going for like a super safe follow-up here. Yeah, it's a triple command center, double upgrades. Honestly, unnecessarily risky here from Percival. I don't entirely agree with the decision to go into this greed. Why not just go factory and then into a starport? If you really want to be safe, you can even go Banshees. It's a bit weird with a double Rex opener, but certainly doable. He also never checked the main base. He saw the lack of a third, so maybe he assumes that it's a two-base push yet again, but why would you not try to double check it? Maybe he feels really confident now, but a bunker is certainly not a luxury. Oh no, here we go again. The roaches are marching. I'm getting a little bit of deja vu. Is that French? Deja vu? I think so. Seems appropriate for this particular cast. All right, let's see. So if Stimpack, if 1-1, if all of these upgrades finish up, we get a massive power spike for the Terran player. Problem, of course, here is that these upgrades are not going to kick in. Not until after this fight settles. Lovely circling surround. Ooh. Percival, though, decided to loop up his Reapers before they left the barracks. Smart move right there. Take a little dip in the spawning pool. Okay, let's see. It's time to dance. Sniping the upgrade here is really clever. He's also biling in such a way that he's hitting the majority of the structures here. Not bad at all. Now, it takes 7 biles to bile down a bunker. Yeah, so unless you get the full wraparound, I don't think it's easily done. And the clock is ticking, right? So Stimpack is gone, but 1-1 is not. Still an incredibly useful upgrade on Marines, especially considering they come out 3 at a time. This is a full repair. Oh, clutch. I have not really seen anybody ever save an all-in like this with a supply depot drop. It does fully heal the bunker, or the depot, rather. Cute little play. Rapid fire here. CaptainTruel probably has all of the, yeah, he has the repeat rates and the rapid fires and everything set up properly here. Again, we're stacking up minerals, though. We're stacking up minerals, and I think that that may become problematic yet again. Here we go, though. Is there enough for Percival? Is there enough here for the Terran player to actually hold? Ah, we're missing a big Zergling swell. He's got no larva. CaptainTruel, yeah, he stacked up energy on the queens. We've missed a couple of injects here on the side of the Zerg player. And that is ultimately what is biting him in the butt. It's the same in the previous game. We're prioritizing things such as creep spread, and I don't hate it. But we are not prioritizing the queen injects. And I think they certainly should be taking the front seat. Le fromage. A dommage. I had French in school for a long time, okay? That's all I can say. Fromage being cheese, dommage being disappointing, right? The camembert. Okay, no, I'm not gonna do... No more French. No more French. Yeah, now we're settling on killing a bunch of or a couple of rocks here after killing a bunch of bunkers. I don't think this is gonna go well. Nope. Stimpack has been restarted up, this time around in a slightly safer spot. Siege tanks are already out, though. Captain has decided that we are gonna double down. So after going all in, we are going more all in. Now, at this point, it seems difficult to even break open the wall. I think we'll probably see one attack here for all the marbles. And I would love it if it works. Problem is, Percival is now willing to even meet this Zerg army outside of the wall off. The siege tank shots have been very effective. Here comes the next influx of lings, and now we have spent our resources. Lift the depot. And this, okay, will indeed be the end of CaptainTruel. But I have to say, this got remarkably close. I think like 2 or 3 times in the first game. And then, well, at least once in the second game as well. So maybe if you're a Diamond League player out there, your dreams do not just have to be memes, right? Your dreams can actually become reality. So again, a lot of these tournaments are open signups. I know a lot of people decide, what is the point if I can't win? I'm not even going to bother. But maybe we can see an upset, and maybe you can take down a pro gamer.